Whoa! Oh no. What happened there? Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. My name is Martin. This is, I believe, episode 22 of my Let's Play, episode 3 of my Duna Rescue series. I spent a lot of time off camera yesterday, building what I hope to be the first stage. This is the third revolution now of this first stage, and I'm gonna have to do it again. It's too many parts, I guess. There's so much. I can barely even zoom in here. Getting 3 frames a second, and it hasn't even launched yet. Too many struts and things. Lots of boosters. It's lots of fun. I haven't flown it since yesterday, so it also explodes randomly if you do too much power at various stages, so there's a good chance I'm not even going to make this work. And it still relies a little bit on stage 2 to finish the orbit off. In some ways that's good because all this falls back and it's debris. I think actually, if we... There's my previous launch attempt is even still still falling pieces. Lots and lots of crap. Right. This is it's been frustrating. So I didn't record a whole lot. There's not a lot you're missing, unless you really wanted to see me get frustrated with how this works. But let's see, somewhere around there should work. We'll engage the ascent autopilot. My long-term goal is to be able to fly this by hand. I think I should be able to. Once it gets up to 20 kilometers, a lot of stuff has dropped off. So anyway, you'll see how we do. This is probably just going to be the last flight of the Scalzi 10 before I retool it, and we'll come back with Scalzi 11. So apologies for the frame rates. It goes so slow at the beginning. In 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. The lone landing leg. That doesn't actually normally happen, so I'm going to give that another try. Okay, here we are again. In 3, 2, 1. So that's the loudest stage, and we're up to 7 frames a second now. That's the most of it. Now we just watch the thrust-to-weight ratio. Eventually these stacks are going to drop off. In my redesign, I think I'm going to go back to 3. 4 is incredibly unstable. You'll even see once these 4 drop off, my fun remaining design. I changed the ascent autopilot to start rolling at 20 kilometers. I think we get there just before these tanks run out. One thing I know, you need to throttle down quite a bit. I had to put lots of rockets on these tanks as well to get them to fly away without hitting other parts of my spacecraft. Maybe I didn't need to throttle down. Okay, here's the... Whoa. Quite tilty gravity turn, so you don't want to eject when it's doing a turn like that. So timing the turn is somewhat important. it should be okay to reject now. Those are fun. Love the Sepratron motors. Okay. Despite the fact that thrust-to-weight ratio's only around 1 right now, really need to watch the throttle again. It will plow up through as the fuel runs out. So you can see I've added wings on with these guys, aerospikes running off a big tank. Interestingly, these run out almost at exactly the same time. And once these stages and all these Sepratron motors that have used to be here disappear, it'll speed up frame rate wise again as well. So these have been firing since ground, giving me the maximum ISP all the way, which is nice. So the consumption never changes on that, whereas now this should be getting close, so it is at its maximum. So we're at 50 some kilometers. Apoapsis still isn't much higher though. We just don't have enough speed. So as it's gravity turn now, we're just burning for speed. We need as much as we can before we can drop off. Now if I remember from yesterday, I think it drops off at around 1500 meters per second, maybe it's a little bit more now. There's half fuel gone on this stage. Now everything's dropped off. Things improve a little bit. And these almost look like they're out, but amazingly they will. They will finish around the same time. Coming up on 1000 meters a second. Apoapsis is now 70 kilometers. If I didn't have the Ascent autopilot, I think I'd probably burn vertical even longer. I don't know. 73 kilometers, so technically the Apoapsis is in space now. However, that's periaps. If we check the map, that's not much, eh? Need a whole lot more speed. 1400 meters per second. I'm gonna start slowing it down or else we plow through. 1500 meters per second. So we gotta get it up around 2200. And the fuel is almost out. It's just about 1700. Okay, maybe I ended off the day yesterday doing a little bit better. This bendiness is where things can go horribly awry, but again, fuel's almost gone. There's the big stage gone. That stage. That's the remains of the junk you saw falling down at the beginning of the last video. Now the autopilot will start to panic as we pass Apoapsis. So, disengaged. What do we got here? 55. It's not quite enough, I'm afraid. I'm going to I didn't try the circularized bit last time to see what it would do. I guess the issue is this going to fling out the other side, but I'd rather not have my periapsis in the atmosphere. It's good enough. 70 kilometers. It's probably going to complain when I... Oh no, okay. Oops. Wrong button. We will just take that off. Yeah, where are you still on anyway? Oh, we can see our values. Total delta V, almost 5,000 meters a second. That's a lot to get into orbit, I think. A lot of gravity, a lot of drag. A little over a third of it went into the actual speed. 100.7 tons into orbit. Not the 117 I really wanted. Oh, that's... what am I doing here? I could definitely use RCS. Blow some fuel that way. Or some mass, anyway, sorry. And fuel. I'm just going to bring the periaps up a bit. Alright, 100 clicks. Ooh, 167. It's funny because I feel like if you've been watching my videos, I'm not very good at getting a circular orbit these days, which is, I think, kind of funny because I used to be really quite good at it. But no matter. And unfortunately, like I've mentioned before, we're too far behind, or too close now behind Duna, so we have to wait a year. I'm not going to wait a year in space here. I guess that's what I was just kind of thinking to myself. I was like, oh well, we got it in orbit with, I believe if you add it up, it's 4,800 liters of fuel in the 4,800 liters of fuel in this stage. I don't know if that's enough actually, delta V, to get to Duna, and especially not to maybe fix the orbital on the way and then aerobrake, get into an aerobraking orbit in the Duna system. I have to bring up my spreadsheet and update the numbers. So we got 100.2 tons with, and I'd have to do the calculations on how much fuel weighs. I don't actually, yeah, anyway, I have to figure that out. Don't necessarily know if I have the delta V to get there. Maybe I'll do some calculations now. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I've got bad news. Just another new fun tool that I found, well, that was posted on Reddit yesterday, is a lovely thing you can print off and hold up, and it's got all the angles that when to launch, and in both your orbit and the phase angle. And it has, excuse me, also the delta V's to get to everywhere. So anyway, just using it as a quick reference, Duna is 3289 meters per second. This stage, notice I put in smaller fuel tanks here. That was to help lighten the load a little bit getting to orbit. That's another reason why the total mass is a little under 117. However, of course, that then lowers their delta V amount of fuel we can burn, leaving us with a total of 2,076 meters per second for this stage. So not good at all. We'll have to head back to Kerbal and the Space Center and redesign. In the meantime, though, this stage is in orbit, and why don't I go to the moon and test this lander stage for fun, see how it works. Obviously, tons and tons of fuel for that. Let's just see, where do we need to launch to get to the moon? Where was the moon? That way. Okay, we got to come around. Oh, good, it's on the periaps side as well. Again, the Oberth effect will give us a little bit of efficiency there. Not like I don't have a ton, but we'll just come around here. Okay. turn ourselves prograde. Oh, burn more RCS fuel. You know, it doesn't look like a massive, massive stage like a big long rocket might, but it's got just a lot of stuff, so it's slow even with the RCS turning it. And there's the moon there now. Where's that one I want? I'll just use it. So thrust to weight ratio up about half. Not spectacular, and you'll see this is going to be one of the reasons why it's not going to have enough delta V to get to Duna. I'm going to burn a ton of this fuel even just to get to the moon. And if I actually can't remember the delta V to get to the moon. I'm thinking it's only 800 meters per second once you're in orbit, but okay, 25-kilometer orbit. Whoop. Bit of a gravity slingshot there too. I believe I'm coming up behind it. So yeah, it would fling me off, not quite escape. This is something I could consider doing for the Duna mission to gain some delta V for free. So let's just fast forward. Sorry, I'm just listening to the alarm there. The county near us. Yes. So we get into orbit, decelerate around the moon. Yeah, thinking about using the moon as a slingshot to save some delta V. I like that idea. I'll have to look up. I actually don't know how much delta V you can gain from doing that. So that's something fun. Just to get in there. Okay. Looking good. So we'll get right to periaps and kill off this velocity. See, the thrust to weight ratio has changed now. Now that we're out in space. Theoretically, weight, of course, is dependent on gravity. It's now using the moon's gravity as a baseline. So 480 kilonewtons, my mass of 90.1 tons mass is independent of gravity and where you're located, whereas weight is, for those that don't know, dependent on your planet or the amount of gravity you're feeling. So again, on the moon here, not as much. So our thrust to weight ratio goes up quite nicely. I think in an earlier video when I was oh, there we go, 70 seconds. Gives us enough time to flip. In an earlier video I mentioned I was freaked out when the thrust to weight ratio changed, and I bet you it was because the frame of reference changed as well, and I didn't notice, and I didn't think enough about it. Oh, could be burning RCS fuel, make the landing a little lighter. It's funny, I'm bringing this huge tank of RCS along and I'm most concerned with burning it. Burn off as much as we can. Okay, getting close to periaps. Don't need that on as much. Where do we want to land on the moon? I guess it doesn't matter. There is some new moon Easter eggs, I guess. Most especially is the Neil Armstrong monument, which they announced they were going to put in. I don't have any idea where it is. So I'd love to go see it, but do not know where it is, unfortunately. Okay, coming around. I guess I could just use the orbital information to see it. Okay, we're down to 14 kilometers. There. Okay, that's fine. Again, I know there's something there, and you may have seen me land there on a previous video. Sorry. Not going to be able to see anything on this view, so I might as well just stick on this view, and maybe we can see something go by. Of course, it would need to be on the right on the equator, but for us to see it, how can we even see? Kind of see something. Yeah, you can kind of see the thing there. That most people probably know exactly what it is, but I don't want to spoil it if you haven't watched my earlier videos and you're interested in exploration without knowing where you're visiting, which wouldn't really be exploration at all at that point. Okay. Never been in this big, huge crater before, so maybe I'll land kind of on the edge, get maybe an interesting view of that. Let's see, we'll go retrograde. RCS, speed things up and burn some fuel. We're down to 87 tons. What was the landing stage again? The way I have it now, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, 53 tons. 53.7 tons. That's another thing, is I don't remember. Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember what I had on the video. I had the 2 tanks for the aerospike launch. Again, not much fuel to do this. That should be good. And then we're going to go normal plus and bring it up northern a little bit. Maybe not too much, though. I don't want to. Looks pretty close to the side of the crater in there already. Oh, the textures on this new moon are just really, really nice. Okay, let's say that's enough. So I'm going to kind of aim for a slightly darker patch here. And again, thinking about this is a Duna mission. We will have the atmosphere at aerobrake. I still may think about adding some chutes to ejection things on the outside of here. The more atmosphere we can use to slow down, the less fuel we have to burn, the more fuel we'll have to get back into orbit, which will all be good things. Okay. Just going to fast forward till we get somewhere around here more. That's probably good. 6,000 meters, 6 kilometers to go. Oops. Should probably throw this into retrograde. A little choppy. Okay, there we go. See, this is my first time on the moon since 0.17, so I mean, it looks so much more bumpy for one thing. I know the full res textures and everything haven't loaded, but and we're gonna have a shadow, which is excellent. Okay, 4 kilometers. Or 5 kilometers, sorry. Got some speed to kill off. Just changed sounds as the fuel tank switched, which is interesting. Uh-oh. Well, that was quite unfortunate. I was not paying enough attention. Oh, how embarrassing. Killed 3 Kerbals. I thought this was going to be a simple mission. The thrust to weight ratio still is not great on that stage. I should have ejected it earlier, but I wanted to use as much of the fuel as possible to slow down. So, there's a lesson. Let's hope this stuff doesn't go through the moon like it used to. I believe they fixed that bug. Good, things are disappearing. So, yeah. If you look at the topography, I was originally going for this darker area, but then with the burning and coming down a little bit quicker maybe than I was wanting to, this higher spot here, I guess. Nope. Got in my way. We'll call it that. Alright, I'm going to retool the first stage design, and I will be back when I have. I may cut the episode here as well, so thank you for watching. My name is Martin. I hope you enjoy these videos. I enjoy making them. Like and subscribe. Thanks.